Every day is a new beginning. Shine your light. It's a day and the world is waiting. Move along to the song, singing in your soul. Feel the beat, clap your hands, let's take control. All you need, all you want, are you ready to find your way? 'Cause every day is a new day.
Welcome to Wisconsin Family. I'm Janet Cresson.
And I'm Justin Riley. We're here at the Steinway & Sons store over on the west side of Madison, and it's always one of my favorite places to go to, as I'm sure you know, Janet.
Yeah, you know, I learned so much more and more about the people here that I really feel like they really care about music and helping you have a good experience in their store and get a piano in your home.
Mm-hmm. And music education too. Ben is really big into music education. He's very good at it. He's an experienced teacher, awesome performer. So we're going to hear from him later on in the program.
Yeah, always learn so much, really, sincerely. We're also meeting with Arcadia Books. This is a little bookstore in Spring Green that I've learned
music
to love.
and books. Does it get any better than that? We're such nerds, aren't we?
Maybe we'll talk about bugs later.
Yeah,
I like
right. There we go.
too.
You're on your own on that one,
No,
I'm afraid. So.
Arcadia Books. You haven't been there yet, Justin.
I haven't. I need to get out there. Now that the holidays are over, I think I probably will have some time to do that.
It really is a real cute place,
Yeah.
a really nice little bookstore. It has a cafe. Nancy Bainan is the children's book buyer. She's going to come in and give us some suggestions for books to keep us busy indoors. And
We're going to be spending some time indoors over the next couple of weeks, I have a feeling. So.
I think that's what they specialize in, is how to recommend a book.
Right.
Tell them what you like, and they've got a couple recommendations for you. It's worked for me, at least.
Yeah, well, good. And I hear that you're I'm halfway through the second time.
Do I dare
on one of your
tell her?
books?
Yeah. So Nancy recommended a book for me, and I read it and I turned right around and started over again.
Nice. You know, it's a good book.
Yeah.
We're also going to be joined by our friend Eric from Pacific Union Financial. They do mortgages there. If you're looking to buy a home, you know, spring is coming, believe it or not. If you're looking to buy a home and you're not really sure if you qualify for a mortgage, you might want to give Eric a call. In fact, you might want to stay tuned after the break, because we're going to talk about mortgages and how even the folks who think they may not qualify could definitely qualify for a mortgage.
And the good news is he's been doing this a long time, so if it sounds complicated, he's going to make it sound easy.
It sure is. Well, we'll be right back with more Wisconsin Family after the break. Welcome back to Wisconsin Family. We're here at the Steinway & Sons piano store over on the west side of Madison, and we're excited to be talking with Ben Garber later on in the program. But first, we're going to talk a little bit about cleaning with Chris Koenig from Detroit Clean. How are you, Chris?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good, good. So we were talking a little bit before your interview started today, and you had kind of told us a story. I don't want to give away too much, so can you relay that story again that you had told?
Yeah. So my husband and I were talking to someone who they're a client, and they also have a home in another community, and he mentioned that in the other community they have a 5,000 square foot home and they only pay $129. And I said, oh, they must just...
$129 for a cleaning?
For one cleaning of a 5,000 square foot home.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow, okay.
And so I said, oh, they must just be rotating rooms and cleaning a little. He's like, no, they clean the whole thing. And I was really surprised when I heard that, because you know, I've been in the business for 10 years. I know what the costs are. Granted, it's another community, so that's comparing a little bit apples to oranges a little bit.
Sure.
But you know, there's costs involved. There's insurance, which is a huge chunk. There's, you know, payroll taxes. There's all these expenses, and there's also paying employees a fair wage.
Right.
And so something, if they're only charging $129 for 5,000 square feet, something in there is missing.
Right.
Yeah.
One of those things is not happening.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So what are the benefits? Let's talk about the fair wage component of that equation. What are the benefits to everyone, I guess? Obviously the employee, but the homeowner too, in paying a fair wage.
Exactly. So with the employee, of course, you know, we want to be able to pay them so they can pay their bills, they can make a living. You know, this is what they do to make a living, and you don't want to shortchange them. And how that translates to the client is if you're, you know, do you really want to bring people into or have people going into your home that aren't happy, that aren't getting paid enough to pay the bills, that are disgruntled, and everything you have in your home, everything you have is in your home. Is that really what you want to have in your home? You want to make sure that your employees are paid well, they're happy, they're able to make a living. And it's just the right thing to do.
Maybe it's the mindset too of thinking that these people in your home are sort of your employees. I mean, they're your employees, but they're sort of your employees too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the homeowner's employees. And you clearly are a person who cares a lot about her employees, which is awesome. And I think that when employees see that their boss cares, they're going to care too. But if
Exactly.
they're treated in a way that is clear to them that their boss doesn't care, they're not going to obviously do as good of a job. So
You said it better than I did.
that's why they pay me the big bucks. No, so let's talk a little bit about the insurance aspect of things, because you're fully insured, and this is something that if people are considering getting a cleaning company to come to their house or their office, they really need to make sure that they're fully insured. So why is that so important?
It's important because if something happens to something in the home or the home itself or somebody, even the people working in the home, they need to be covered. You know, if one of my employees is hurt in somebody's home, that's covered. If they're not covered, if it's not covered, then they're a household employee. Then it comes out of the homeowner's insurance. So you want to make sure that the you have the right insurance. And the other thing is that you want a professional company that knows what type of insurance they should have. When we first started out, we didn't have the right insurance. We went to a well-known, insurance company thinking that we were getting the right insurance, and they told us it was, and we had some damage in a client's home, and we didn't have the right insurance. Yeah. So, and then I found that, so I found that out, and then did more research and joined ARCSI, which is our trade group, a trade association, and learned from other cleaning businesses that what types of insurance we should have. So early on we learned that lesson, and we changed and went with a different company and a different local company, and are really happy with what we have, and it works. So
I think you're touching already on the topic too of whether to hire a company or an individual, because some people just do it on their own. Can you talk to that just a little bit?
Yeah, so if you're hiring an individual, there's some things that can happen. One, you want to make sure that they have insurance, like I just mentioned. The other thing is that if something happens in your home to that person, if they're injured, that is going to be covered with your homeowner's insurance. So that affects your rates going forward. If they're sick that day, are they going to show up? Yeah, is there a backup plan? So yeah, and then the other thing too is that the IRS considers them a household employee. So you need to be paying taxes on them, and if you're not, and it comes time for them to retire, you have to pay, and you have to pay the fines for that also. So there's a lot of risk involved with that. If the individual, if the solo cleaner isn't doing things on their end, you have to cover it.
It sounds like hiring a company just kind of insulates the homeowner from so many of those liabilities.
Correct.
So that's a good perk.
Yeah, we have to deal with all of that. The homeowner doesn't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
We're almost out of time, Chris, and I was saying to Justin in the open that I think the only thing better than having a clean house is having someone do it for you and pay for it for you. Right. So with Christmas around the corner, are gift certificates something you can do to give someone a clean house? Yeah,
we have a lot of people do that. They buy them for friends or family. People can go to our website. We have packages out there. You can buy single gift certificates, or if we have people call me and say, I want to give my friend a free home cleaning, but I don't know how much it's going to be. And so in that case, we just work it out. We schedule it with the person who is being gifted, and we figure it out. Yeah, we invoice the other person. So
I think Janet's sending a subtle message for what she wants for Christmas. So Chris Koenig from Natura Clean, thank you so much for joining us today. We always enjoy talking with you.
Thank you.
Don't go away. We'll be right back here at the Steinway & Son store on Wisconsin Family.
Welcome back to Wisconsin Family. We're in the piano gallery at Steinway of Madison on Mineral Point Road. Later on, we'll talk with the owner about the experience of buying a piano and getting one into your home. Right now, we're talking books. Love this topic. And with us, we have Nancy Bain. She's the children's book buyer at Arcadia Books, which is out in Spring Green. Now, Nancy recommended a book to me. Nancy, I'm halfway through that book. Yes. For the second time. I finished it and I turned right around and started over again. I enjoyed it so much and wanted to get more of the details. So my first question is that weird?
That's not weird. If you love something,
I think he thinks it is.
Well, I was just going to ask. You said you're halfway through the book the second time. Did you make it through the first time? You said you did.
Yeah, I did.
That was the first thing that came to mind.
It's a fantastic book. I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful book. I would like to read it again too. So no, I think not. If there's a book that you love, some people read the same book every year. It becomes like
that's
a
true.
yeah, it's kind of like a ritual. So
Okay, I'm
yeah.
feeling better. Thank you for affirming that. Okay, let's move on. How about recommending books for indoor activities? You know, with us being in the midst of winter
Yes.
and a little bit cabin fever going on.
Yes, absolutely. So in the winter theme, I love this book, this little picture book. Picasso paints a snowman. So this little mouse is on a journey of artistic discovery here.
Uh-huh.
And so every page is a different artist rendition. And I think it's fabulous because it gives you more than one way to look at an object.
Sure.
It doesn't have to be 3 circles stacked on top of each other.
Sure.
And then maybe your toddler can be like, oh, I'm a cubist. Oh, I love Jackson
Oh,
Pollock.
that's a snowman.
Yes.
We just
Yep,
missed. They're all
They're all
snowmen.
snowmen. Yep.
Picasso paints a snowman.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're
okay.
all different versions of a snowman. And then I thought, well, how fun it would be to be inspired. So then you look at these and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I'm going to paint one like this. Or when I see a snowman, I'm going to think of it in a totally different way.
Sure.
So
This looks entertaining for kids and adults, actually.
I think so. I mean, couldn't you have like a little family contest and everybody
Yeah.
paints a different version of a snowman?
That's cute.
Beautiful
Yeah.
book,
It's very
too.
cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, some things that people like to do in the wintertime is that, we love to cook. We love good food, obviously,
Yes.
even after the holidays. But, people tend to get sick of the same things over and over again.
Absolutely.
So, is there anything, do you have any new cookbooks that you can share with us?
Yes, I brought 2 with.
Okay.
This is a fun one. This is great family recipes, but a little fancier. So you could have like a friends over and have kind of a dinner party with those. This one, this is a real deal family cookbook. It has recipes in here, things that you have in your pantry, in your fridge, and take you like half an hour to make.
Yeah.
And
wow.
they're just a little different, but they're kid friendly,
Sure.
and you're not going to buy 20 ingredients to make it.
Sure. And it
So-
looks like there's some healthy options there, too.
Absolutely.
And everything, so.
Yes. So soups, desserts, appetizers.
And pictures. I like it when there's pictures.
Yes.
This is what it's supposed to look like.
Yes. And look at that. It's delicious. So.
Well, with my cooking, sometimes having a picture of what it's supposed to look like may not be such a good idea. It might make me feel bad about myself, but that's okay. We like to see the pictures, so.
Well,
Absolutely.
I've been over at Arcadia Books, and the first thing I noticed when I walked in was how good it smelled. You've got a little cafe going on in there, and I'm wondering what's going on in the kitchen. You call it the kitchen?
We call it the kitchen at
Okay.
Arcadia Books. So this winter, on Tuesdays and Thursday nights, we're doing dinners, and they are fantastic. Last Tuesday, I had the dinner that was empanadas, cheese empanadas, and with black beans and roasted sweet potatoes. It's $8 for the vegetarian, $10 for the meat option.
Wow.
Fantastic. So that's every Tuesday and Thursday from 5:30 to 7:30.
Okay. This is at a bookstore. We're
Yes.
getting this kind of food. This is crazy to me. Anyway.
Yes. Yeah, best of both worlds.
This isn't just any bookstore,
Right.
though.
Well, it's not. Yeah, obviously. Obviously.
No, it really, just the atmosphere is
Yeah.
very warm, very welcoming, and super lovely.
Yeah. I didn't mean to cut you off. Was there something else that you wanted to mention about the kitchen? Things going on food-wise? Sorry, I thought maybe I cut you off. But
Just every day she brings out something.
Yeah.
Katie Wire is our chef. She brings out something ridiculous. Yesterday it was a lemon curd cake. So yeah.
Sounds like she's enjoying her job there.
Right.
Yes, yeah,
Right.
she's fantastic, very creative and
when
locally
I
sourced. Yeah.
when we think about going to Spring Green, a lot of people think of going to the theater, and
Yes,
probably not so much this time of year. But it's a little bit cold outside. But are there any things that you can offer people who want to get their theater fix during the off season?
Absolutely. So some of our theater friends live in Spring Green, many
Right.
of them, and they also need their theater fix. They get antsy to get back on stage, and so we do these things called play readings. They are just behind a table or up on a podium, and they just read the play.
Wow.
They just have a script and they just read it, and it's nothing fancy, no costumes.
Right.
They really haven't practiced too much, and
Right.
it's just fun, and it's just a different way to hear a play you maybe have never heard of, and they are such incredible actors
Yeah.
that them like reading a phone book is
Yeah.
interesting and
Yeah.
wonderful. So reading
Yeah.
a play is
They bring their
fantastic.
acting chops to the table. In
Yes.
other words, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
So those are Monday nights, and I have my cheat sheet here so I can remember the dates. January 22nd, February 19th, March 5th, and March 12th. And you can see all that info on our website at readinutopia.com.
And I've been to one of those readings for A Christmas Carol,
Yes.
and it was fabulous. I highly recommend it. Well, Nancy, thank you so much for coming in
Thank
today.
you.
Thank you for your recommendations.
Yes.
Highly recommend the store. You can find them in Spring Green or find them online too. We'll be right back.
'Cause every day is a new day. 'Cause every day is a new day.
Welcome back to Wisconsin Family. We're here at the Steinway & Sons Piano Gallery over on the west side of Madison. We always love coming here because we always learn something about, music or pianos or the history of pianos. I think it was the last time we were here, and today is going to be no exception. We're joined now by Ben Garber, from the owner, I should say, of Steinway & Sons Piano Store here in Madison. Welcome.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming again.
And you brought someone with you today.
I am going to introduce Tom Davison. He is another member of the team here at
Okay.
Steinway Madison and a real rare asset in the piano world. The thing about Tom is he has worked for every major manufacturer. So he was with Roland for 10 years, he was with Yamaha, he's been with Steinway, so he knows the inside of the piano industry.
Yeah, inside of the piano and inside of the piano industry, is it fair to say?
I don't know the inside of the piano as well as Ben does, but I certainly know the goings-on of the musical instrument industry.
Okay,
yes.
gotcha. Well, let's talk about pianos. A piano can represent a pretty big purchase for a family. Is it similar to buying a car, would you say?
That's a great question, and I think it's fair to make a comparison because so many people are used to buying a car. It's the big ticket item that most families have gone through. So there are similarities. You can finance similarly.
Sure.
You can rent a piano, like I suppose you could rent a car too.
Or lease a car.
Or lease a car. But there are also a lot of differences.
I agree. Experientially, there are a lot of differences. First off, a piano represents an investment that can last a lifetime.
Yeah.
In the amount of time that it takes for a piano, a high quality piano to deteriorate, you're probably going to have 6 to 8 to 10 cars.
Right.
So it's a really, really long-term investment.
Right.
I think one of the other differences is that unlike what we're used to, most people dread going to a car buying experience.
Right, they do it because
dread
they have to.
They have to. Their
Yeah.
car broke down. I just had a similar experience. People have fun here.
Yeah.
And I think people sense the vibe and the chemistry of Ben and I and Debbie. So I think it's like the yin, yang, and the young. And they just have a good time. And I love it when they say, I've really had fun.
Yeah.
I had a good time. I was so apprehensive coming in here.
Right.
But now it's just, you've just taken all my stress away.
Right.
And then I know we're successful.
Yeah, awesome.
So when people are making this purchase, again, it's a big purchase. People get nervous, whether it's a car or even a piano, because it's a big decision.
Sure.
And maybe a fair amount of their budget if they're considering it. How can they feel rest assured that they're getting the right information and a fair price and the quality that they are hoping for?
Ben?
Yeah, that's really important, obviously, and unfortunately, in the piano world, the internet hasn't really helped us. There's more myths, I would say, on the internet than truths. So you really need to find someone who's going to be in your corner, who's a knowledgeable expert, who can help educate you and tell you really what's going on behind the
Between
surface.
the two of you, I feel like that's it right there.
Well, straight from Steinway, they'll tell you, it can be a perceived quagmire out there. And when you move to another city, for example, the number one thing you want to do is source and resource the Steinway dealer. There's only 61 of us in the United States. A lot of people don't realize that. And what it takes to be a Steinway dealer is unbelievable scrutiny in the process. Not only do you have to be unbelievably have financial stability,
Right.
but you have to have expertise in it. I am really fortunate that I get to work for a guy who never toots his own horn, but he's the only one I've ever met in this business, and I've been in it 38 years, that has a combination of a master's degree in piano performance, which a lot of people do, but he has a master's degree in piano technology. And I have learned so much in the year and a half I've been here, and I rely on him a lot. I bring him into the conversations with the salespeople, with the customers, thank
Right.
you, a lot.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
I know he never toots his own horn.
Well, why don't you start tooting right now?
We're not supposed to do that, right?
So I do it for him.
There you go. There you go.
And we do too.
There you go.
So, I imagine that there are people who are, professional musicians who want to buy a Steinway or a piano, and then there's people who are kind of amateur musicians, or they just like the look of a piano in their house. But you obviously have the eye and the ear to tell the difference between some of these pianos. Is there a difference? I mean, to the untrained eye and the ear, they may all look or sound the same, but is there a difference?
Yeah, there's a huge difference actually, and it's reflected in price point too, right? I mean, if you see the price point of an entry-level piano versus an artist-level piano, it's huge, right? Unfortunately, with cars, right, they all look different. You can say, hey, that looks fancy, that looks fast.
Well,
Right.
and everyone has brand recognition.
Of course.
They know the
Yeah.
difference between a Mercedes and a Lexus or
Yeah.
a lesser model. They all know that because they're constantly being inundated by commercials.
Right.
And
point.
those same performance differences exist in a piano, but you just can't see them.
Right.
They're behind the
Or
surface.
they just don't know about them.
Right.
That's why I bring Ben in.
That's why we've got Ben.
So, talking about pianos and piano lessons, we have a couple minutes left to talk about piano lessons and making them fun and interesting. And I'm wondering what you have to say about that.
Well, yeah, looking forward, we're always thinking of ways of making more fun happen here, and that could be on the buying side or on the piano lesson side. So we're going to be moving into some new areas, some group classes and things like that.
Group classes for piano.
Yeah. And we have a really exciting announcement for April. There's going to be a national Steinway piano competition held here, so that's it's a little bit more on the practiced side, if you will. Right?
I like hearing you say that you guys have fun here, because I think there's maybe a misconception. You think of Steinway and you think of a piano gallery, and it sounds a little stuffy, maybe even pretentious, depending. And I've never felt that here.
No, not at all.
And you're looking to have even more fun.
Yeah, ideally. I mean, I think we want to move into the 21st century. Pianos have been around for a long time, but they can still be viable as we look forward. So.
Absolutely. Well, Ben and Tom, thank you so much for the information
I
today.
had fun.
Yeah. You're gonna come
Fun
back.
again.
Gonna come back and do it again.
Yeah, Ben lets me.
I have a feeling that we've only scratched the surface of what you know about today. So,
I can tell you stories.
well, Ben Garber and Tom Davison, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And that's all for us here on Wisconsin Family from the Steinways and Sons Piano Store here on the west side of Madison. We'll see you next time.
The beat, clap your hands, let's take control.